running late. I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like for her to do it in case I forget the words. Roll call.
Ms. Salchow? Here. Mr. Lindemann?
Here.
Dr. Gomez?
Here.
Mr. Ramos?
Here.
Mr. Bahrain?
Here, item D, approval of the minutes. Mr. Lindemann,
I move to approve the minutes.
is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow, any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salchow?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Bahrain?
Yes. Item E, summary of current events. Ms. Samaniego, Superintendent's report.
Good evening, Mr. President, board members, members of the community and staff. Several things going on in our district. Obviously, one of the most important ones is that AD has just issued our state letter grades for schools. And coming from the ASA conference with the rest of the superintendents and leaders across the state, we were all waiting for those letter grades this morning. And so we will be having a work study session during the month of November where principals will be sharing more details about the letter grade, but just wanted to share that our students demonstrated growth from last year's ASA score. And this year, Douglas High School is the first letter grade based on ACT. So we have Clausen as a B, Joe Carlson as a B, Stevenson as a B, Paul Huber B, Douglas High School B, Ferris B, Sarah Marley C, and RBMS C. And I want to share that both Sarah Marley and RBMS were Sarah Marley was 0.18 points away from a B, and RBMS 0.65 points away from a B. So while we demonstrated growth, we will, part of our goals will be to increase the proficiency level. So we do want to celebrate that our students demonstrated growth, and we have a lot of work ahead of time, so congratulations to our schools. I also want to report that there are several students who are still under guardianship in our district and want to inform the community that through the guardianship is only approved through the judge at the county. We have nothing to do with whether it gets approved or not approved. We are pending, some of our families are pending those documents, the approval or denial, and we have been informed that the judge, at least one of the judges, has been denying more families that either had an existing guardianship or a brand new guardianship request. And we have procedures in place at DUSD which will allow us to enroll a child who's got an appointment with the courts, and then we have so many days to get the paperwork back. And so we're following those procedures. I just want our families and our community to know that we don't approve or disapprove the guardianship. We have our own practices in place and procedures that we follow based on state law and enrollment practices, and we have our own requirements. So in the event that families don't get approved, then we have to take our own measures in order to determine whether that child will have to pay tuition or what other options are available for them, including withdrawing them from the district. So we're having our internal audits within our paperwork system and our registration system. So just wanted to notify you that we are working on that. Some updates on our school safety and training updates. At this point, a little over 95% of our staff has been trained in ALICE. We've had over 13 to 15 different ALICE trainings, and if staff has not taken the time, it's because they haven't wanted to. We gave them every opportunity to take the training, and we are now in the student phase. And so November 15th, RBMS school-wide will have an ALICE training done by our school security officers, and I think there may be some help from DPD, if not by our own staff. November 16th, Huber Middle School, school-wide ALICE training, and November 17th, Douglas High School, school-wide student training. And I am working with county on another simulation training, which will probably take place November 18th. And we're still working out the details with the county. Our elementary schools will continue shelter-in-place drills that they've already been having, moving into some lockdown drills, because obviously the training that we have for our little ones is very different from what we do with middle school, and we don't want to put more stress on them. All of our school security met last week and came up with a plan for the student trainings, and so met with Augie and I believe Mark Gonzalez. And just last, some school highlights. Huber had their honor roll celebration last week, and they treated their honor roll students with ice cream sundaes. I was not invited for that, but I don't know why. Our elementary schools had Red Ribbon Week community presentations. They had Cochise Sheriff's Department, Border Patrol, Fire Department, I believe Chiricahua, Cochise College, and in order to educate our kids on Red Ribbon Week. So we want to thank our community partners. And RBMS, if you haven't been ever to their haunted house tour, I would really recommend it. They had a great success, and they were able to raise over $900 in their haunted house tour during, I believe it was last week. So those are just some of our highlights for schools, and that is all I have.
Is there somebody out there who wants to address the board?
I don't think so.
Okay, I keep hearing,
Oh,
oh, that's Mr. Ramos?
he's on the phone.
I'm sorry, people. While she's trying to get him back on the phone, members of the board, I think it's very significant that you extend a little bit and amplify on that report on the guardianship, and I'll tell you why. Number one, when you become aware that there's a question about residents, especially through guardianship, the district has a policy in their state laws that you have to follow to ensure that those people are legally resident and that they've established a resident either with a guardian or permanently in the district. So would you do that and tell about what you do when you become aware of that? That's number one. And number two, the significance of what could happen if we find out by not only the court being a little bit more circumspect in how they're dealing with guardianships. What's the significance of that so that the board knows how it could affect, unfortunately, our budget? So you want to talk about that and talk
Yes.
about how many guardianships that you have recently found out about so that you can know the magnitude of how many and the corresponding money that it could affect.
Yes. We have currently 22 students that are, that initiated the guardianship process that are still pending a court hearing. And so that's 22. Then we have about 88 students who are in the process of waiting response for their renewal of their guardianship. So that's a little over 100 students. And so if a child is denied or if the guardian is denied, then what we do here is we inform them after the 30 days, because in policy we have a procedure that is the 30 days. And so we send a letter to that child informing them that they must bring in new documents to guarantee that evidence of residency in the district. And so we have a list of documents from a tax document or your license or your mortgage statement that shows your address. So if a child, and they're given 10 days in order to bring those documents over to New Student Center. And so if a child or if the parent or the guardian is unable to bring those documents and register the child via one of the ways that we have to enroll the kids in the district, then they could face withdrawal if they're unable to provide proof of residency or pay tuition. So obviously, if and when we hear the result of the court, because right now they are very backed up. So we have a notification that families do have an appointment for their court hearing, but the response and time is taking months for the court to make a decision or issue paperwork to the families. And so we've been in contact with the courts, and we have information that that's what's happening. So that could be significant impact on our budget if we obviously were to lose, let's say, over 100 kids get denied guardianship. And so we are doing our due diligence, and from home visits to determine if that if we become knowledgeable that maybe there is a fraudulent address per se, and a denied guardianship. So we'll start with a home visit and do our paperwork trail and log everything because we document everything. So that's what it could mean. And obviously between the 100 students, we may have some high school kids, we have some middle school kids, some ELL kids, some ESS kids, and so that all is affected a little differently depending on how they're funded.
The ADM for a high school student that could be affected if say it's 10 high school students, what is it?
I typically go by, like Mrs. Samaniego said, there's a different amount. It depends on what grade they are. But I typically use $5,000, which is as an average. So again, if we lose 100 students overall, then we're talking about $500,000. Again, it depends. It varies. Depends on the grade that they're in. But worst case scenario, we'll be looking at $500,000
Okay,
impact
members
to the
of the
budget.
board, that was just for informational purposes, just something that you should be aware of, and also the general public. If there is a mass deportation, because that's where they come from, let's be honest about it. Not Mexico, not Europe, Mexico, right? Okay, let's go on with governing board reports. Does any one of the governing board members have anything they'd like to report?
But I'd like to ask a question to Ivana. This is just something that she said. I was told by somebody that we were having an audit, and I didn't think that we were having an audit on him, but the audit is on the enrollment. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm doing an internal audit as a superintendent working with the Student Center, but the auditors were just here recently, so I don't know if maybe that's what
Checking
we were.
you?
For,
Okay. All right,
yeah,
that's
yes,
fine. Okay,
our
now I
regular
got
audit,
it.
yes.
Okay.
Yearly audit, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they're auditing Cesar.
Moving along to reports. Number one, school activity report for Alejandra Magru, please.
Hi, good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent Samaniego, and members of the public. The activity report at DHS and DUSD schools for the month of November is as follows. Our school highlights. We've got great news to share about our students at DHS. Congratulations to Colton Boone as he represents DHS at the state golf tournament in Tucson on November 2nd through the 4th. Congratulations on our swim 400 free relay team of Emilio Hunt, Cristian Martinez, Joseba Caparra, and Brian Toscano as they advance to state. What's going on in our district? Friday, November 11th, no school. It's Veterans Day holiday. November 16th, progress reports go out. November 21st through the 25th is Thanksgiving break. DHS activities. November 1st, seniors go visit GCU. November 2nd through the 4th, students at Skills USA Camp Championship. November 5th is SAT testing. November 10th is senior night football. November 10th is HOSA fall conference. November 15th is a PTSO meeting. November 18th, seniors go visit Fort Huachuca. The week of November 21st, winter sports begin gameplay, and November 28th, NHS induction ceremony. Ray Brain Middle School. RBMS Haunted Tour on Thursday, October 27th was a great success. Thank you to all who came out to support our school. A special thanks to our PTSO, staff, and students who helped make it a success. Boys basketball and girls soccer has started this quarter with their first game on Tuesday, November 1st against Huber. Our Dia de los Muertos dance will be on Wednesday, November 3rd from 6 to 8 p.m. First quarter awards assemblies will be held on Thursday, November 4th at 1:15 p.m. in the Ray Brain Middle School auditorium. Our annual Veterans Day assembly will be on Wednesday, November 9th at 8:30 a.m. Paul Huber Middle School. First quarter awards assembly was held on October 26th. November 1st is the first competition for boys basketball and girls soccer. November 1st, 3rd, and 5th, Flocorico will be performing at the Gadsden, Clausen, and at St. Luke's. And November 16th will be our staff Thanksgiving luncheon. Clausen. October 31st, PTSO held a pumpkin party in our cafeteria for our students. We also had our annual trunk or treat event with an added twist of a pumpkin parade. The staff participated in a pumpkin decorating contest. Douglas Fire Department visited on Tuesday, November 1st. Our annual Dia de los Muertos event will be held Wednesday, November 3rd from 8:30 to 12 o'clock. We invite the board and the community to stop by and see our ofrendas. Flocorico performance on November 3rd. Our Veterans Day presentation will be held on Thursday, November 10th, beginning at 9 a.m. Reading in the Dark will be Wednesday, November 9th from 5:30 p.m. to 7 o'clock. Stevenson. October 24th, Red Ribbon Week. Custom Border Patrol and Border Patrol, Cochise County Sheriff's Office, Douglas Fire Department, Forest Rangers, Tobacco Agency, and Douglas Police Department all visited Stevenson Elementary. Thank you to all of them for their service and for making the time to visit our students. On October 31st, this annual trunk or treat was a success. A total of 31 cars participated this year. On November 11th, it's Veterans Day, no school. November 21st to the 25th is Thanksgiving break, and November 30th is the spelling bee. Joe Carlson. Thank you to all the officers from Customs and the Douglas Police Department for their presentations during Red Ribbon Week. We would also like to thank our PTSO for having table or treat for our students. We are planning a fall festival for our students and families this month. Progress reports will be sent home on Wednesday, November 16th. Fall Picture Day will be on Friday, November 18th. Sarah Marley. Sarah Marley had a successful spooky reading night on Wednesday, October 26th. Over 150 students and their families came to hear teachers read scary stories. Trunk or Treat was celebrated on Monday, October 31st. It was a fun, safe event for all of our students. Our first quarter awards assembly took place this morning, celebrating the hard work and success of our students. And Ferris. Ferris celebrated Red Ribbon Week with presentations from the Sheriff's Department, U.S. Customs Border Protection, and the Porterville Fire Department. We had a very successful Halloween parade, and our Ferris parents did an amazing job at our annual Ferris Trunk or Treat. Some of our Ferris students participated and bought a painted pumpkin of their favorite storybook character, and they are displayed in our NPR. Ferris classrooms created a Dia de los Muertos ofrenda and is displayed in our NPR. Ferris November parents reunions to take place next week, November 9th and the 10th. Huber Flocorico to perform for our students on November 3rd. And that's it.
Thank you very much. Mr. Soto, do you have anything under item number 2 for budget or travel report?
Yes, Mr. President, thank you. It's my monthly report, budget balance. I don't know if you have any questions as for the month of October. Any
Members of the board,
specifics
do you have
on
any
that?
questions? Do you have anything significant you want to point out?
Yes, sir. Actually, today, ADE officially informed the legislature about the aggregate expenditure. For a total of $1,385,809,642, or 17.51% of our expenditure. So now the legislature has until March 1st, 2023, of course, to override it, to approve it, or deny it. What does that mean for Douglas Unified? It's a total of $5,188,592 in case that the legislature doesn't override this. Again, we've been lucky that after all these years, they've been approving, they're overriding this. But what the frustrating part is that they always take until the end to make that decision. So there's a lot of petitions out there asking superintendents and districts to actually contact their legislators to take action as soon as possible. That way we're not taking hostage or waiting and having this waiting game for this. So again, as soon as I hear something or if there's any news about this, then I'll let you know. But just so you have an idea of how much we're talking about, potential loss, 15.7% of all of the district's budgets are in jeopardy. Any specific questions?
Travel,
about that?
anything on travel?
Travel, again, you have the report, nothing significant to report.
Members of the board, any questions or comments regarding any?
And if I may add, just on the budget, as as we get these notifications about, the AL and puts district in panic or hoping that, this gets resolved, that was a big discussion at the conference. But at the same time, many districts are working with, negotiations, salary committees, such as in the case that we are. So we're continuing to work with our salary committee to define some potential pockets of positivity that we can do with our funds and our budget in terms of raises, fixing people that have been frozen. And so those discussions are still carrying forth. We're not going to stop the work that we're doing. And if there's any possibility, then we'll bring something to the board that I feel can be something we can sustain and the board could approve. So yes, if you can write your legislators and legislators, tell them this is important.
Mr. Brain, what part of the legislature is the one that deals with this, the House of Representatives?
Both.
Both?
Both.
So if we want to contact somebody, we need to contact them on both sides.
Correct.
The senators and the representatives.
Right. You never know where the bill's gonna originate, but
Right.
And it requires,
anything that come out of their approval has to come from
2/3
both
vote, right?
sides.
Yeah,
so.
it starts in the House.
All right,
and goes to the Senate.
did you have anything else?
No, I'm good. Thank
Okay,
you.
now we're gonna move to human resources and student enrollment, Ms. Cox.
Yes, so good evening. Currently, our student enrollment is at 3,864. Last year, we were at 3,925, so it's a decrease of 61 students as compared to last year. And I was also going to report on the guardianship that Mrs. Samaniego already reported on.
Well, if you feel like anything you want to add to what she said, or because you're the one that deals directly with it, why don't you go ahead and add if you want?
I just, I want to let you know that we're monitoring it carefully, and, we're concerned. We're concerned about what this could potentially do to students and to our ADM. So we're going to be monitoring it, and we're in close contact with the court system, so they're helping us with this.
Do you have anything regarding staffing, any shortages or any place that the board needs to know about? Go ahead.
So we currently still have some positions that are open. We are dealing with some new information that we've received pertaining to foreign teachers that we're hiring, so we're looking at that closely. And so we're just hoping, right now we have about 6 vacancies between middle schools and the high school.
I keep seeing the expenditures on the legal fees for the visas.
Yes.
Right? How many people is the district, how many people are the district, or how many are being paid for the renewal every year of that HB1 visa? How many do you have? And are they from Mexico, the Philippines? Do you have any from, say, Europe or any place
No.
like that?
So currently, we still have maybe a handful from the Philippines. Most of them are expiring this year. And then we hired about approximately 10 teachers from Mexico. So they're all from Mexico, nobody from Europe.
And if I may add, the J1 teachers are the Philippine teachers, and so there is no cost, like sponsorship-wise, because they're on a J1 visa. The teachers from Mexico that we've hired are the H1, and as a district, you have to pay a fee, and then the other fees are paid by them as individuals. And so there's about 8 or 9.
9? Mm-hmm.
Well, just so the board knows the extent of the cost of having to do that because of the lack and shortage and all those things, how much are you paying on the average for all of those people when the district has to get involved in the renewal and the payment for it?
I will probably say that on average, we spend around $3,000 per employee. It depends on every different case. But I will say probably on average around $3,000 per employee.
So how many do you have?
We have about 9 of them.
So
close to 30%.
you can see that that's also an expense that we have to pay
Yes.
because of all of the circumstances regarding the the availability of staff and the things that they
Teacher
have to deal
shortages.
with.
Yes.
All right.
But you said 3,000.
Correct,
Some-
per employee.
Okay, do we have anybody that wants to address the board?
No, sir.
Milagro. Item number 2, consent agenda items. Under 2A, approval of the following consent agenda items, payroll vouchers 1 through 3. Mr. Lindeman, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the payroll expense
Is there a
vouchers. 1 through
second?
3.
Second by Ms. Salchow. Any discussion regarding the voucher? Roll call.
Ms. Salcho?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Berry?
Yes, item 3, discussion information on the Douglas High School construction update. That's under action item, that's for information only, right?
Yes, it's
Okay.
information, and so we do have Alan and Rob on the phone, and we also have some staff from Adolphson and Peterson that are here in case there are any questions that they can answer. But today's report is just for information purposes, and so Alan and Rob, do you want to give, please, the board an update on our Douglas High School construction project?
Well, excuse me a minute, we do have 2 people
Yes.
here, right? And so, I think just for the audio, and you people are just as up to date as they are. In fact, you're more on the job than they are, correct?
Yes.
From what I heard yesterday, you are. So if nothing against Rob or Alan, but I think you people are present, it'd be much better, I think, for you to give it because you're the people that are on the job. And my understanding, again, as of yesterday, was you know the daily operation and progress. So if you don't mind, either one of you, Michael or
Michael?
Ruth, want to step up here and just give us just kind of give us a synopsis of what's going on.
Michael Smith, I'm with Adolphson and Peterson. We're the contractor for the high school project. We are, as you know, currently as a team behind schedule due to mainly procurement activities and some labor shortages in the market down here. They are a nationwide challenge. Just yesterday, after we had the opportunity to meet with 2 of the board members, we received a letter that we will not be receiving our electrical gear that was supposed to ship yesterday. It will not ship until at least December 1, which means that we will not be able to get APS out here and have APS turn on the power until that gear arrives. So we continue to do building finishes. As you can see, we're currently closing up the R building, which is the building to the south of the project. We're working our way around to the V building, which is the building on the east of the project. We'll then follow up by finishing the building on the west of the project, and then last will be the building on the north of the project. As we get our materials off the field, we will be able to proceed with working on the field, and we have a goal to plant the field early next year. At this point in time, nothing would grow out there that would benefit the district, unfortunately. So due to some delays that we had with materials and having to store things out on the field, we were unable to get the irrigation in and unable to plant it. We are currently working with both APS and Southwest Gas to get the utilities brought into the buildings so that we can turn them on. And we're working with Alan, who is the construction manager, and Rob, who is your architect, for a completion of the R building by the end of December, with the ability to store some things in there that the district is expecting to arrive right before Christmas. So that's the good news that I have. I have no bad news at this point in time.
Members of the board, do you have any questions or comments regarding that?
Mr. President, good evening.
Evening.
Glad to have you here.
Thank you.
I was reading the background information that I was sent, and one question that comes to my mind is they were talking about moving the transformer from the existing pad that I had seen out there. Did you find a suitable place or a better place?
It has found its final location.
Where would that be?
It is to the east of the R building, up against, I believe it's called Eddy Street, Eddy Avenue.
On Eddy Avenue.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that was the end of that, and they've left it hanging, so, but, thank you.
You're welcome. Questions?
I have a
Dr. Gomez.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When we went to visit, you had the power coming in almost right next to the old building. kind of like on the southeast or
Yes, sir.
southwest side,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Okay, so you're gonna move that?
That has been moved.
That has
It's
been moved?
now further north.
Yes, okay.
A new pole was put in by APS. I'm sorry, I live in APS. And then an underground feed has been installed. And a transformer will be installed on the pole. And then that'll be hotted up when we get the rest of the electrical gear. Right now, it would be unsafe for us to turn anything on, or APS.
Oh, no,
will-
no, I realize that, but I just wanted to know what, because you mentioned a new site and I just want to know about where it was gonna be.
Anybody else? As the work progresses, what parts are you finishing first? In other words, will there be anything that would be nearer completion than, in other words, in the scheme of everything, are you working towards completing one part first and then phases, or is it all just as it happens?
No, we have a rigorous schedule that we're trying to adhere to, and we've had some procurement challenges, as most of you are aware of. Our goal is to finish the R building first, and then we'll follow with what we refer to as the V building, which is the building up against Eddy Avenue. We'll follow with the S building, which is the inside building that doesn't have any street access, and then the north building will be last.
Ms. Samaniego, Dr. Gomez, do you have another?
Well, it's just that when you use letters,
I-
you throw me, okay? So the place where the kitchen is and
Cafeteria.
the cafeteria, that's gonna be finished first?
Yes, sir. That's building R to us.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's gonna be, and then that's where you're gonna store things as they come in.
Correct. You have furnishings and things like that that are due in sometime around Christmas, and our goal is to have that done and be able to store them in there.
Then, go ahead, Anna, do you have anything that you want to add or question or?
No, and we, board members, I set up a meeting with Michael and Rob and Alan yesterday in my office with two board members just to give a little bit more of a detailed update and schedule, so they had a good discussion yesterday. Rob, do you have anything to add, or Alan, to what Michael said?
No, I think Marco has summed it up pretty well. Can you hear me?
Yes.
In the meeting yesterday, you mentioned, oh, go ahead, is that Alan?
Rob.
Rob, go ahead.
Go ahead, Rob.
I agree with that. I agree with Michael and his assessment. We're all working, around the clock to try to get this project finished. We have a great team, and I want everybody to know that we are all working together. We're all committed to getting this project completed. We're looking for that day in the near future after the first of the year to hand everything over to the kids.
Did you mention yesterday in our meeting that you were talking to food services to work some type of a transition out that, now, we did have that discussion about the district isn't interested in taking possession of anything until the whole project is completed.
Correct.
But did you say you had talked to the food director
We had
regarding, what was that conversation about?
We had a conversation with them about being able to transition the kitchen in a 3 to 5 day period, if it was something that
okay.
the district wanted to entertain.
Right.
Okay.
And so that it would be smooth, so that there wouldn't be any unexpected delays or anything in the feed, the program.
Correct.
Okay. Did you have anything you wanted to add? Now's the time to do it. I think it's a good time to get up to, and remove all doubt from board members and questions that they might have. We do, Ms. Salchow, how did you feel about yesterday's meeting?
I thought it was very good. It opened a lot of conversation. We were able to ask any questions that we wanted to, that we had burning questions on our minds, and address some other things regarding the project, and I thought it was a very good meeting.
You did, and I'll tell you from my perspective, you did alleviate a lot of doubt that the district had, the board especially. I know they work with you daily and they're in constant communication, but the board members, we drive by individually, we look, we see it looks like it's going to take a long time, and so that was a good meeting yesterday to kind of assuage us a little bit, so to speak, so that we weren't that antsy about whether or not you were moving along or what the dedication was and those kinds of things. So we appreciate that, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
All
thank
right,
you for
it does-
coming tonight.
And Ruth, welcome. I didn't get to meet you yesterday, but welcome to the team. And I know that Beth is in constant communication with us, gives us, if not 3 daily updates or more. And the weekly meeting that we have in place with everybody that needs to be part of that meeting. So I appreciate the effort and the teamwork.
Okay, thank you, and you don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting. We talked about that yesterday, how interesting they are.
He's like, what?
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay.
Item 2B, discussion action on the approval of certified hires, Ms. Samaniego.
Yes, as presented, we have some, most of them are emergency substitute teachers. We have some 21st century after-school program, existing teachers that are going to be working for the after-school program, so as presented.
Entertain a motion to approve
I move to approve the certified hires.
by Mr. Lindeman, second
Second.
by Ms. Salchow. Discussion. Roll call.
Ms. Salcho?
Yes.
Mr. Lindeman?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Bereen?
Yes, item C, discussion action on the approval of classified hires. Entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve the classified hires.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Discussion, anything you want to add to that, Ms. Simon?
No, just 2 food service workers and 1 sub-custodian.
Roll call.
Ms. Salcho?
Yes.
Mr. Lindeman?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Bereen?
Yes, item D, discussion action on the approval of athletic hire, Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, you have 1 wrestling assistant coach being recommended. All the background information is on your board packet. Extensive experience in wrestling, and the recommendation from the interview committee to recommend Hassana Collin. I think that's how you pronounce the last name.
Entertain a motion to get it on the floor.
I move to approve the athletic hire.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Discussion.
Mr. President, I had a quick question. This person that we're contemplating hiring, is this person fully certified through AIA and the things that we need to keep the AIA rules?
The coaching. So, is Mr. Vidal here?
Well, Mr. Walker's here.
No, Ms. Melissa, Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes, we require all coaches, assistant coaches, to go through all the necessary training. So yes, she has already completed the training.
Tell us what that, we've done it before, but it's sporadic, every once in a while it's that. What is that certification that's required?
They have to go through the NFHS coaching certification, and then they also have to go through the concussion training and the CPR first aid. So those are the requirements for any coach to be able to coach any of the sports that you said. Actually, for Spirit Line, there's additional things that are required, but in general, those are the things that are required for all coaches, whether they're assistants or head varsity coaches.
Okay, thank you, Melissa. There's a lot of athletic information and knowledge sitting over in that corner. We also have an athletic director of the year sitting there as well.
Teaming up.
Go ahead,
I
Ms.
did not see that on the background information, and that's why I brought up the question. I wanted to make sure that the district is not put in any kind of jeopardy because we don't follow those rules.
Great. Yeah, anybody else, any questions or comments regarding that? Roll call.
Ms. Salcho?
Yes.
Mr. Lindeman?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Bereen?
Yes. Item E, discussion action on the approval of certified resignations. Ms. Samaniego, how do you want to handle that?
Okay, let me see, that is letter E. We have 2 athletic they are after-school resignations for the after-school enrichment program. These are teachers, Francisco, and then Mahala Lewis is also our teacher. So they're not able to do the after-school program because they have other commitments after school, so they are rehireable. They are our teachers, they just couldn't continue working the after-school program.
Entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
Second
Second.
by Ms. Salchow. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salcho?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Bahrain?
Present. Item F. President in the legislature means something different too, by the way. When you say president, there's a lot of things to be read into that. Yes, I vote yes. Discussion action on the approval of classified resignations or retirement. Item F, Ms. Samaniego.
We have four being presented, one retirement effective 12/16/22. So we want to thank Guadalupe Ochoa for her years of service. She's currently a food service worker, and then a custodian, 2 instructional aides, and all of them are being recommended as rehireable. The IAs, every single one of them, Mrs. Cox had an exit meeting with them, and our custodian is a full-time Cochise College student and will be advancing hopefully into getting her associates. So she was having struggle keeping up with her work and the full-time job. One of the other IAs is going to work as a probation officer for Cochise County. So she's moving to that role, and so they're all rehired.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
I need a motion, please.
I move to approve the
I'm sorry.
classified
I'm
resignations and
sorry. That was
retirement.
after. By Mr. Lindemann, is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Roll call.
Ms. Salcho?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Bahrain?
Yes. Item G, discussion action on the approval of middle school athletic resignations. Ms. Samaniego.
Again, these are just in the after-school athletics program. 2 of our current teachers, for personal reasons that they can't continue in the after-school program for athletics. The sport has not started yet, and we are going to be recommended in the next item replacement for them. So they are rehireable for coaching.
Entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salcho?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Bahrain?
Yes. Item H, discussion action on the approval of increase in hours. Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, increase from 6 hours to 6.5, and this is an ESSIA due to student needs.
Was that in the background, was that reason in the background
No, it's not in the background.
for
but-
the reason for the increase? All right, okay, entertain a motion to
I
approve.
move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Salchow, any further discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salcho?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Bahrain?
Yes, item I, discussion action on the approval of addendums for middle schools athletics. Ms. Samaniego.
As presented, all of the positions are for Ray-Barain Middle School. If you recall, when we presented all the middle school addendas, Ray-Barain had unfilled positions, and so we want to thank everybody that came through and applied for the position. So we have teachers from all over the district.
Entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve the
Second.
addendums.
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. You know, I hate to ask the question, but do those, no, that's not AIA.
No.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salcho?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Bahrain?
Yes, item J, discussion action on the approval of volunteer. Ms. Samaniego.
This is an applicant for a volunteer. She's actually going to be doing some observation hours for her SLPA schoolwork, and that is Lorena Bird.
Entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salcho?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Burring.
Yes. Item K, discussion information only for classified internal transfers, Mrs. Samaniego.
These are just internal transfers, no vote needed, and just for information purposes due to the needs of the district.
Entertain a motion to approve, no, information only. Item L.
I have a quick
Do
question.
you have any
on,
questions? Go ahead.
On K, the internal transfer, are we still covering all of the elementary schools with our security?
Yes, we are. Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion, board members? Item L, discussion action on the approval of donations received for Douglas Unified School District number 27. Ms. Samaniego.
We have several donations. First is a $2,500 donation from Step Mobile to DHS Student Council, $100 in memory of Miss Cheyenne Ron, a teacher who passed away at Ray Borain. So there's 3 donations on her behalf to Ray Borain Middle School, and donation of 12 basketball jerseys to Paul Huber Middle School, estimated value of $264. And then you have about 5 donors choose classroom projects that have gone, and all paperwork has been submitted through business office.
Okay, Mr. Lindeman.
I move to approve.
Second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Any further discussion regarding those donations? Roll call.
Ms. Salcha.
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann.
Yes.
Dr. Gomez.
Yes.
Mr. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Burring.
Yes. Item M, discussion
Wait,
action on.
just let me ask you a question before we go.
Sure.
I had lent some stuff to Oscar Mariscal when he was in charge of the, what was it, the MAS that he had last year. And since they didn't have it this year, I still have that stuff, and I want to donate it to whatever school wants it. And so how do I go about that?
Well, Ms. Samaniego, or.
Through business office, there is a form you have to fill out
Okay.
with the estimated value and the items. Who do you want to donate it to? And it then gets presented to the board.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Item M, discussion action on the approval of the amended direct service agreement between Douglas Unified School District number 27 and Vail Unified School District for Arizona online instruction support due to typographical error. Ms. Samaniego.
So this is the 3rd time I bring this back to you, and Vail keeps making a mistake on it, and so when you approved it last time, they still realized they had a typographical error on the date, and so it's back here for final approval.
I understand they don't want to do business with the Douglas School.
No.
They keep
So,
finding the flaw.
Yes,
in
yes,
everything.
I know.
Okay, that's understandable.
Yeah.
Entertain a motion, Mr.
I move to approve.
Second? By Ms. Salchow. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salcha.
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann.
Yes.
Dr. Gomez.
Yes.
Mr. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Burring.
Yes, item N, discussion action on the approval of the First Amendment to option and site easement agreement between Douglas Unified School District number 27, City of Douglas, and T-Mobile West LLC. Mr. Samaniego, Mr.
Soto.
Alrighty then.
Mr. Soto.
Yeah, I mean, as all of you know, we have a cell tower just behind, it's between center and left field, the baseball field, which is owned by the city. So the city already approved. There was some improvements. I believe they put a new transformer or some stuff, did some upgrades to the cell tower. Again, that will benefit the school district. We are the ones that receive the money for that lease. And because of that, the increase is going to be $300 more a month. Like I said, the city had already approved this, so now it's on the district's court to approve it and then submit it to T-Mobile for this to be executed. I don't know if you have any specific questions.
I'll get a motion on the floor first.
Oh, yeah.
I move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Salchow. Discussion? Do you have a question, Mr. Lindman?
No.
Anybody have a question regarding that? Roll call.
Ms. Salcha.
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann.
Yes.
Dr. Gomez.
Yes.
Mr. Ramos.
Yes.
Mr. Burring.
Yes, item O, discussion information on new policy exhibits GC-EE, head coach performance evaluation. and GDO-ED Assistant Coach Performance Evaluation. Ms. Samaniego.
Yes, so this is not for the vote, it is an exhibit, but I am bringing it to you. Under our current policies, Mr. Vidal couldn't find that there was an exhibit in our policy, so he brought this forth, and I am bringing it to your approval. It's a very comprehensive evaluation tool for the head coach and the assistant coach.
That's for information only?
Yes. Mhm.
Any discussion regarding that?
Who does the evaluating?
Mr. Vidal.
Okay.
For the head coach, and then I believe the head coach is involved in the assistant coach's evaluation.
What instrument have they been using in the past?
Well, it was one that was basically the same one, but somewhere along the lines, I guess it just was removed from the policy manual. When? I don't know. So we couldn't find it.
So it doesn't exist?
So that's why we're bringing it to you.
That we do have an evaluation tool, it just wasn't
In the policy.
in the policy.
But you do have one in existence
Yes.
that you've been using?
Yes.
Okay. Item P, discussion action on the approval of the superintendent's performance goals. Entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Let me just say that the board did meet in executive session, and we did thoroughly go over the instrument, and that for public consumption, the board is extremely satisfied with the performance of the superintendent, and we all realize and recognize that there's always room for improvement, as with anybody, and the superintendent and the principals know that as well, that when they evaluate that. But the board takes into consideration a lot of the criteria that's used. And we know that because the board feels that our primary function is the education and best interest of students, and also the best interest of the management of the school district. And we feel that Ms. Samaniego does that in an exemplary manner, and we're happy that we got over that, and that we'll be working on a new year. So we have a motion on the floor to approve. So members of the board, you don't have any comments at all? Roll call.
Ms. Salcho?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Burring?
Yes. Item 4, information items, request for future agenda items. Item B, announcements. Ms. Samaniego.
Just a reminder, we have Veterans Day, no school, and offices will be closed on Friday, November 11th. And Thanksgiving break, if you remember, the students and the teachers, and I think the principals have a week off. Not the principals, you work, sorry. And all district offices will be closed Thursday and Friday, November 25th, and our next regular board meeting is December 6th.
Let me go back to item A by way of explanation. I don't want anybody to think that I just ramrodded that through and skipped it. The board has a policy that a request for items can be done 3 ways. One is that the administration can unilaterally put things on there that need board approval as the routine business of the district. Other things that come that are questionable, then the superintendent, the administration discuss that with the board president, and then they decide whether it goes on. The second way is that the board president has the authority to put things on the agenda as that person sees fit, and anything that needs to be addressed by the board in the best interest of the district. The third way is that if the superintendent doesn't put something on, or the board president doesn't agree to put it on, and a board member wants it on the agenda, then by policy, they have to get 2 signatures, which can override the superintendent and/or the president of the board, and it will automatically go on the board. And what an example of a case like that would be: the superintendent doesn't feel it's worthy, or for whatever reason doesn't merit being put on the board, or isn't part of a perfunctory routine matter that the board has to review. and the president, maybe for whatever reason that he or she feels that it's not something that's worthy or merits public discussion, and it's not in the best interest, if they can refuse. So the board member, if they're insistent, can go to another board member, get that signature. There's a form to fill out and say, we want that on the agenda, and that overrides the superintendent and it overrides the board. Okay, so I didn't want anybody to think that I just skipped over that quickly because I didn't want to entertain any items going on the agenda. All right, item 5, executive session. The governing board may vote into executive session pursuant to ARS 38-431.03, subsection A, number 1, for the following personnel matter. Consideration on recommendation of termination with cause of employment for a classified employee. I'll entertain a motion to do that.
I move to enter into executive session.
Is there a second?
Second.
By Ms. Salchow. Roll call.
Ms. Salcho?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Brody?
Yes, thank you. And we are now in executive session.
Martha has it next.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, we're back in open session. No, we're still on the screen. Is it okay? Okay, yeah, okay, we're back. We're back in open session. Items 6, discussion action on recommendation of termination with cause of employment of Ms. Guadalupe Amaya, computer technician. Entertain a motion to do that?
Mr. President, I move to approve the recommendation of termination with cause of employment and rehirable.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Gomez. Is there any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. Salcho?
Yes.
Mr. Lindemann?
Yes.
Dr. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
Mr. Bermain?
Yes. Entertain a motion to adjourn
Move to adjourn.
by Mr. Lindeman, second.
Second.
By Ms. Salcha. All those in favor?
Aye.